Indonesia's recent public denial of reports suggesting potential interest in acquiring the Chengdu J-10 from China has triggered a wave of debate within the country and across the region. For many observers in Indonesia, this is more than a procurement issue. It is a signal about how Jakarta seeks to navigate a rapidly evolving security environment while maintaining its long-held tradition of strategic autonomy. The question is not whether Indonesia wants or does not want a new fighter. The fundamental issue concerns how Indonesia sees itself in the Indo-Pacific power balance and how it intends to manage relationships with major powers without compromising national sovereignty. The attention generated by the J-10 rumor was predictable. The aircraft is emblematic of China's push to expand military influence and export capability. It is equipped with an active electronically scanned array radar, advanced avionics, and the long-range PL-15 air-to-air missile, giving it credible reach within contested airspace. For a country like Indonesia that controls vast maritime territory and must constantly patrol the Natuna region, the prospect of a fast and relatively affordable fighter with a strong sensor suite was bound to spark interest. Chinese media, which often tests the waters with unofficial leaks, further amplified the idea that negotiations were either underway or imminent. In this environment, it was unsurprising that the story evolved rapidly. Within days, Indonesian officials clarified their position and firmly rejected the possibility of a J-10 purchase, at least for now. This quick and direct denial highlights the sensitivity of the issue. Indonesia's foreign and security policy is built on the foundation of non-alignment and independence. Any suggestion that Jakarta might tilt toward Beijing in a manner that affects defense procurement immediately provokes domestic scrutiny. The J-10 rumor struck directly at the core of this concern, raising questions about whether Indonesia was drifting closer to China at a time when regional tensions remain elevated. There are practical reasons for the skepticism as well. Indonesia's current fighter fleet is already stretched across several origins: United States F-16s, Russian Su-27 and Su-30 aircraft, South Korean T-50I trainers, and soon the French Rafale. Maintaining this diverse force is costly and complicated. Each fleet requires its own supply chain, training pipeline, ground maintenance system, and documentation. Even for countries with significantly larger defense budgets, integrating multiple fighter ecosystems can quickly become unsustainable. Adding an entirely new Chinese system would increase the burden, not reduce it, especially when Indonesia is trying to raise the readiness of its existing platforms, many of which have availability rates estimated below 50%. This domestic constraint intersects with a larger strategic picture. Jakarta understands that perceptions matter as much as policy. A move toward purchasing the J-10 could be interpreted by Western partners as a shift in Indonesian strategic alignment. Indonesia is currently negotiating the acquisition of the F-15EX from the United States, a platform that would substantially enhance long-range air defense and maritime interdiction capabilities. The Rafale deal with France is already underway, representing a major investment in fifth-generation avionics, sensors, and network-centric warfare. If Indonesia were to simultaneously adopt a Chinese combat aircraft, it would introduce significant interoperability problems and raise doubts among existing partners about long-term consistency. The denial, therefore, serves a dual purpose. Domestically, it reassures the public that Indonesia is not surrendering strategic autonomy to any external power. Internationally, it signals to Western defense partners that Indonesia remains committed to established cooperation and is not abandoning ongoing procurement frameworks. This aligns with Indonesia's long-standing diplomatic doctrine: remain open, maintain options, and avoid binary choices that reduce flexibility in foreign policy. The controversy also reflects the broader anxieties surrounding China's growing military footprint in Southeast Asia. For Indonesia, the South China Sea, particularly the waters north of the Natuna Islands, is a space of both opportunity and tension. Indonesia is not a claimant in the disputed areas, but incursions by Chinese fishing vessels and Coast Guard ships have raised public alarm. Moving too close to China militarily could undermine Indonesia's credibility when defending its exclusive economic zone. This makes the J-10 more than a technical question. It is a symbol of how Indonesia positions itself amid strategic competition. Nevertheless, the idea of a J-10 purchase should not be dismissed entirely. Indonesia's defense modernization has historically been opportunistic. If geopolitical conditions shift, or if the United States slows the F-15EX approval process, Jakarta may revisit alternatives. China could offer favorable financing packages, technology transfers, or accelerated delivery timelines. In a scenario where Indonesia needs quick replenishment of air combat strength, such incentives could become more appealing. What the recent denial demonstrates is not an absolute rejection, but a desire to retain leverage and negotiate from a position of equal footing. For now, however, Indonesia's most realistic path involves consolidating the systems it already has. The Rafale purchase represents a major upgrade that promises operational coherence and combat reliability. Its radar, electronic warfare suite, and integration with precision weapons offer Indonesia a long-term backbone for air superiority missions. Improvements to the F-16 fleet through structural upgrades and avionics modernization are also underway, extending the service life of a platform familiar to Indonesian pilots and technicians. The T-50I remains a critical training system for developing new pilots before they transition to advanced fighters. These three pillars, Rafale, F-16, and T-50I, could offer stable progression if properly funded and maintained. The longer-term horizon includes Indonesia's participation in the KF-21 Boramae program, which carries potential industrial benefits. If Indonesia remains committed, this program could eventually provide partial domestic assembly, technology exposure, and a more consistent training and maintenance pipeline shared with South Korea. Such a path aligns more closely with Indonesia's desire for strategic independence and reduced foreign dependency. The key challenge ahead lies not in buying more platforms, but in creating a coherent air power architecture. Indonesia must invest in logistics, spare parts, airbase infrastructure, pilot training, and ground crew capacity. Without these, even the most advanced fighters will be underused. The issue highlighted by the J-10 debate is that Indonesia's power is constrained not by procurement choices, but by systemic readiness. Strengthening readiness is the defining requirement for the next decade. Indonesia's denial of the J-10 acquisition should therefore be understood as a message. Indonesia will evaluate opportunities, but will not rush into decisions that compromise national independence. It will continue balancing major powers without aligning fully with any one of them. And it will make choices that preserve its diplomatic freedom while reinforcing defense capabilities in the face of growing regional competition. The future of the Indonesian Air Force will not be defined by a single platform, but by how effectively Indonesia can integrate its fleet, strengthen readiness, and maintain strategic autonomy in a contested Indo-Pacific environment.